The biggest mistake moms make following a C-section isn't always by doing too much. It's about not doing these certain things because you've never been taught or supported. So let's talk about how to recover from a C-section, what you need to know.
You are listening to Belly Birth Beyond with Pelvic Floor Mama, hosted by Becca Boeving, a PTA, mom of two, and now your go-to pelvic floor coach. Welcome to the safe space where no topics of motherhood are off limits and judgment is left at the door. Too many mamas are dismissed when they've got valid concerns. If you're sick of hearing that's normal when it feels otherwise, keep listening.
The biggest mistake moms make following a C-section isn't always by doing too much. It's about not doing these certain things because you've never been taught or supported. So let's talk about how to recover from a C-section, what you need to know. Recovering from a C-section, please keep in mind, I am a C-section mama and I'm a VBAC mama, so I've been in your shoes before. I know how challenging it can be, how frustrating, how scary, how uncertainty. It may not have been the birth that you planned for. Maybe you're preparing to have a C-section for some reason, and you want to feel prepared for your recovery and your journey ahead of you. So one thing that is so dang common that happens, we use belly binders after we have a C-section. I don't like belly binders because they push everything down and they affect your pelvic floor. Now you might be sitting here thinking, I'm having a C-section. How is my pelvic floor affected? Your pelvic floor makes up the bottom of your core. Your pelvic floor acts as a hammock for your bladder, bowel, and baby. Uterus, but baby's inside the uterus, okay? So your pelvic floor is affected throughout your entire pregnancy experience. So having a C-section doesn't just cure you of having any pelvic floor issues or of your vagina never being the same. It just doesn't. There's so many moms that still have pain with sex postpartum after they have a C-section. And there's so many moms who still pee themselves when they don't want to, or have hip pain, back pain, all these other things that can occur. I don't say this to scare you. I'm just saying that C-section doesn't mean that you don't have pelvic floor problems or that you are cured. You don't have to think about it anymore. You also had a major surgery, or you will have a major surgery where your core is moved out of the way. And so your core is now compromised and your pelvic floor is going to have to pick up the slack for that, which puts a lot of strain and responsibility, and it can make it really tight, really uncomfortable, can lead to a lot of problems. Okay. So C-section isn't just you're good from your pelvic floor standpoint. So what happens when we wear belly binders postpartum is it squeezes your belly, right? It's trying to support you. But then where does everything go? All that pressure gets pushed down below into your pelvic floor, which is recovering from pregnancy. And then now already has more responsibility because your core is not working the correct way, right? Because how can it? You just had major surgery. It shouldn't necessarily be working the correct way right now. We've got to reconnect with your body and teach you how to use it again. Instead of using belly binders, you can use or wear postpartum leggings. Baby Bub makes some, and I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, even though I'm like begged them because I love that they make a postpartum legging. I absolutely love that. No other major brands do. And I found them and I bought some for her mom and she loved them. There's also some on Amazon. I cannot speak to the quality on Amazon though, because I haven't used them. I haven't bought them for somebody. But you can always give those a try too. But I would highly recommend postpartum leggings over a belly binder. Okay. We want to support from the bottom up and still have that gentle compression, especially after a C-section. It can also be challenging, I understand, because if some moms are very sensitive to anything over the incision or the scar. Okay. When you have a C-section, you want to think about having like what's at home. Where are you going to sit? Where are you going to lay down? Where are you going to find yourself for the next week or two? Is it on a couch? Is it in the bed? Is it both? Is it in a chair? What you want to think about is something that's not too low to the ground. And this could even be a toilet. You might need to get a toilet razor or a higher toilet seat. They make some of those so you can sit down better. Because if you are sitting all the way down in a couch, for instance, our couch was extremely low to the ground. So whenever I sat on our couch, I could not get up after my C-section. And a lot of times I was trying to get up holding our baby and I could not get up. So try to find an area in your home or set yourself up where you have something that's taller so you aren't struggling to get up or out of it, and ask for help. Ask for your husband to help you up, to help you stand up. before you stand up, think about breathing out and kind of protecting your core. Sometimes you gently hug a pillow to help give you that compression or that support and then stand up. That can be helpful. If you're rolling over in bed and standing up, instead of trying to just sit straight up, think about rolling to your side and pushing yourself up with your arms. We really want to protect your core during this time, and we want to reconnect with your body by just simply starting with breathing, especially as you're healing. So just gently breathing, teaching your body how to breathe correctly, allowing your belly to expand when you inhale, coming back to a neutral position as you exhale, focusing on just some gentle breathing can make a huge difference. Okay. You want to do the one thing that I think so many moms don't want to do, and they don't think it's important, is scar massage. So once your scar is completely healed, there's no scabbing, there's no open wounds, there's no leaking, oozing, which you wouldn't want that anyway. You should be contacting your provider if that's happening. Once it's completely healed, like I said, no scabbing. It's just a scar now. You want to do some gentle scar massage. This is going to help. What happens when you don't is that scar tissue sticks to the healthy tissue beneath, and then it can create problems. A lot of bladder problems can arise because of this. Because if the tissue underneath can't move the way it's supposed to because it's stuck to the scar tissue, it can create pain and leaking and discomfort and a lot of other things. So scar massage is really important. If you're sitting here listening to this and you're like 5-10 years post C-section for some reason, it's not too late. I get this question a lot too. It's not too late to work on it. It's just going to take longer to get there. And it's going to take probably more help or interventions to get there. So doing this once you're fully healed is going to be really important. There's this is something I teach within the postpartum program I have throughout the Ultimate Mama bundle, also or the postpartum package. So if you're looking for C-section support, there's something there. Okay. The scar massage, like I said, is really important. But then we talked about breathing, reconnecting with your body, and helping to support you, right? So once your scar is healed and you've been working on your breathing, you want to be able to engage your core. Engage your core. You want to work on gently engaging your pelvic floor, but more importantly, you even want to work on being able to relax your pelvic floor. As you move throughout your day, as you get further along, it's being able to stand up and pick up those little things. Like if you're carrying your baby or something, how can you stand up and support your body and your pelvic floor and your core while you're doing these things? This is why throughout my programs, I teach you like a 3-step method, right? The first one is I'm always teaching you the basics of your pelvic floor, what it is, breathing, core, pelvic floor, contraction, and relaxation. And then teaching you how that can support your pelvis or your pelvic floor or your core throughout movement, like standing up, bending over, picking something up, walking up and down the stairs, all of those types of things. Because when we can do those with less pain and with the support that you need for postpartum, you need that support, right? Because if your pelvic floor is compromised and things like that, this is where we can start getting prolapse, which is where, and I don't say this to scare you, but during those first 6 weeks, C-section or not, you can help support your body have less problems later on. It's not just wait 6 weeks and hope for the best and you're healed and you're good to go. There's things that you can start doing right after birth to help support yourself. So that way you can have an easier recovery. So you have less problems to recover from. And that way you don't have problems down the road. So many moms have like back pain and they're like, oh, it's just from having babies and it's just from an epidural and from my C-section, and all of these things add up. But a lot of times it's because we never went back and reconnected with your pelvic floor, and your core is now really weak and we never got you back strong again. And so now your back is in a lot of pain because it doesn't have the support of your core and your pelvic floor. And that is your core. Like your back is a part of that. It needs help, support, stability. So that's really important when you're recovering. So recovering from a C-section, if you're preparing for one or you're needing help, make sure things are raised or higher, or you have help to get you up out of wherever you are going to be. There's some people who follow the 5-5-5 rule, which is like 5 days, you're like laying in bed, you can do some breathing, but you're kind of resting, recovering. This includes the time you spend in the hospital. So for some moms, by the time you get home, you've already spent your 5 days in bed. The next 5 days are like on your bed, or it could be on your couch if you want to be out in the living room, but you're on your bed. You're still doing some gentle breathing. You could maybe add in some like pelvic tilts laying down. Sometimes some very gentle like side to side motion can help. Whatever's going to feel okay. I don't want to do a lot with that scar still recovering, with you still having stitches, or some people have staples or whatever's going, glue. I mean, every I feel like C-sections are so different wherever you have them. But while that's healing, you want to be very, very mindful. So sometimes it's just working on some breathing. Okay. But the next 5 days are on your bed. And then the last 5 days are around your bed, where you're not really up for more than 30 minutes at a time. Okay, so this is like that second week mark. This is where your scar should probably be a lot more healed, closed up, unless you had some complications along the way, where you can maybe start some scar massage, where you can start doing some more of that gentle, like open books and pelvic tilts and things of that nature. So that way you're helping to support your body when you do things. This is where, as you go to stand up, you're really focusing on your breathing and your core and your pelvic floor. So that way things aren't dropping and your pelvic floor is supported and your core is supported. Okay. If you think about it like your core and your pelvic floor, if you engage your core and you engage your pelvic floor, you have like this like protective cocoon type of thing in your midsection, right? Everything's kind of like holding it together, helping to support your pelvis, those types of things. You can be able to do modify how you're doing getting out of bed, and modify how you're standing up if you need to. So that way you're not putting too much strain through your core. Okay. You can have support to help pull you up. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I think asking for help is one of the hardest things as a mom, especially like first-time moms. We really struggle to just ask for help. And it can be hard even after your first kid. And it's like we should be able to do it all, but really you shouldn't have to do it all. Like you should be able to help recover. You should have people to help, or even just your husband to help support you with the baby and be able to do things. So that way you can rest and recover too. Make sure you're drinking lots of water and staying hydrated. Instant hydration is like my favorite electrolyte drink. That's something that you can even drink and have on hand. Make sure it's nearby you. I was dehydrated with my first recovery because my cup was never within reach. And I never asked for it. It would be like on the floor next to me, but I was either holding my baby or I was sitting in a position where I like could not reach it. So make sure it's within reach, make sure it's full. If you need help with it, ask someone who's around you to help you get it or to fill it up or whatever it may be. Have little snacks by you too. Make sure you're eating. Recovering from a C-section can be really challenging, but these are some ways that you can help in the very early days to help support you. I'll put some links down below for some added resources for you. Keep in mind, there's also a YouTube channel for Pelvic Floor Mama with some help and support for you there too. That may just have you feeling a little bit better sooner. So things that you need to do are find something that's a little bit higher, so you're not sitting too low. You want postpartum leggings instead of like a belly binder. Gently breathing, engaging your core, your pelvic floor, some mobility, and then don't forget about scar massage. Scar massage is so important. Okay. And then slowly progressing. When you do get to that 6-week mark, it's not 6 weeks, go back into your workouts. It's 6 weeks. Like you should already been reconnecting with your core, your pelvic floor, doing some mobility, helping to support you move, and just gently progressing that so that way you can be stronger. This is what I teach in the postpartum mama recovery reset, which is like, it's 8 weeks and it's videos you follow for 4 days, starts at 7 minutes a day, maybe less than 4 times a week. You just hit play, you follow it through, and it's not like workouts initially. This is reconnecting with your body, allowing your body to heal. For C-section, 1 to 2 weeks as long as there's no complications, starting 1 to 2 weeks postpartum. And just gently doing it. I have so many moms that go, I wish I started this sooner. I would have felt so much better. This would have been so nice, like right after birth. Okay. So just keep that in mind, that there's this idea that we have to wait 6 weeks, but during those 6 weeks, there's so much you can do to help yourself feel better. So that way at those 6 weeks, you're feeling a lot stronger. You're feeling a little bit, not even just strength, but you're just feeling a little bit more like yourself in your body. You're able to like do normal things throughout your day without feeling like your body can't keep up. And that can be really challenging with a C-section. So I'll put some information in the show notes below, so you can click on those, or you can head to the website if you need more resources. There's a postpartum package if you're just postpartum and wanting all the support, or the Ultimate Mom Bundle also has support if you're going to have another baby, another pregnancy, and you want some help and support through there. So you've got this, mama. Sending you love. Nothing is TMI when it comes to motherhood, and common doesn't necessarily mean normal. Always trust your gut and never stop advocating for the care you deserve. If you enjoyed this podcast, help it reach more mamas like you by subscribing and leaving a review on your preferred listening platform. Keep in touch with me on Instagram by following Pelvic Floor Mama. See you next time.